Hello everyone. This is going to be a brush-up session of logical reasoning where we are going to touch upon every topic with few questions discussed on that. Since we have discussed topic-wise questions earlier, this is going to be quite easy for you to solve. So here comes your first question. Looking at a photograph of a girl, a woman said, "She is the only daughter of the only son of my mother-in-law." How is the girl related to the woman's son? Right? And you've got four options. The working goes like this. This is your question. Girl is the daughter of the only son of women's mother-in-law, right? So only son of women's mother-in-law is going to be women's husband, because women's husband's mother is whom we call as women's mother-in-law. So it becomes daughter of women's husband. So daughter of women's husband is, yeah, it's women's daughter as well, right? So the question is, how is the girl related to the women's son? Yes, you got the logic. So woman's son is women's daughter's brother, right? So the answer for this question becomes option A, sister. In a certain language, REYMEYSEY means you are good. SEYKOINOI means we are happy. REYKOITOI means good, happy, best. What word does mean MEY? Right? So this is a form of a coding decoding question, and you have to decode it to find the answer, right? So this is what is given in the question, the three statements with three coding language. And when you solve it, from the first and second statement, you can easily find the common word is going to be SEY, which means R, right? And from the second and third, the common word is KOI in the coded language, and in the actual language, the common word is happy. So that gives you KOI as happy, right? And from the first and third statement, the common word is REY, and in this side, the common word is good. So that gives the meaning of Ray as good. Yes, having the other words, it will be easy to find MEY as you, NOI as we, and TOI as best. Right? Now your question is, what word does mean MEY? So MEY means you. So the answer becomes you. For the similar question, you have the question, what code will represent best? Now best is coded as TOI. So the answer is an option C. So that becomes your answer. Hope you got the logic. On a bright sunny morning, the shadow of a person falls behind him. What is the direction to his right? See, if a shadow of a person should fall behind in the morning, then definitely the person should be facing east. Only if you face east in the morning, you can see your shadow falling behind you. You can even turn to the west and see that your shadow is falling just before you, right? So on a morning, the shadow of a person falls behind, which means the person is facing east. So the direction is north, south, east, west. So if the person is facing east direction, to its right, the answer is going to be south. Rishabh is taller than Lata, who in turn is shorter than Mohit. Sunil, who is not as tall as Mohit, is taller than Rishabh. If Vian is shorter than Lata, who among them is the tallest, right? It's a quite simple question. The first data they have given is Rishabh is taller than Lata. So fixing Rishabh and Lata, where Rishabh is taller than Lata, who is in turn shorter than Mohit. So Lata should be shorter than Mohit. I cannot fix Mohit here because I don't know if Mohit is taller than Rishabh or shorter than Rishabh. I'm holding on with that. Your next data is Sunil, who is not as tall as Mohit, is taller than Rishabh. So Sunil is taller than Rishabh definitely, right? But they say Sunil is not as tall as Mohit, which means Mohit should be the taller one than Sunil. Right? So this is how you got it. And your last statement, Vian is shorter than Lata. So Vian comes at the last. Your question, who among them is the tallest? By looking at the arrangement, you can easily find the answer to be option B, Mohit. If in a language, piano is coded as PRQMF, then how is the word sitar coded in the same language? It's a coding decoding question, and look at the logic. So taking from the last, O, and a word is added. The next word of O is P, and then coming back to the first one. First you have added one word, and then you're adding two words, that gives you R. Going back to the last again, you have N, Adding 3 words, you get the 16th letter of the alphabet, and I, adding 4 letters to it, you get your answer to be M. Similarly, your word sitar can be coded as R is the last letter. Next letter to R is S. S is the first letter. 2 letters after S is U. A, 3 letters after that is D. I, 4 letters after that is M. And T, 5 letters after that is Y. Right? So, sitar is coded as SUDMY, which is in your option D. That becomes your answer. If truck is coded as LDVSU in a certain language, how will the word clock be coded? Truck is coded as LDVSU, right? From last, every letter is added with 1. The last letter is K, next letter to that is L, C, next letter to that is D, U, next letter is V, R, next letter is S, and T, the next letter is going to be U. The same logic is applied for clock, so you get your answer to be LDPMD. Now the logic is starting from the last, you are adding every letter, right? So LDPMD is the coded word for clock, so which your answer is in option C. There are 17 identical pink marbles, all of which are of the same weight except one, which is heavier than the other one. Using a pan balance, what is the minimum number of weightings to identify the odd one, right? Now they have given you a data that the exception one is heavier. If that is not mentioned, it's going to be a difficult task. Since that's mentioned, your answer is going to be solved very easily, right? Now you have 17 identical pink marbles. Okay, now you can split this 17 as 6 plus 6 plus 5, isn't it? So first you are going to weigh 6 plus 6, that is the 12 marbles equally on both the sides. So if they show any difference, yes, then definitely the exception marble, that is the heavier marble, is going to be amongst these 12. If that doesn't show, then definitely it is going to be in the next 5 marbles, right? So let's take the first case where the exception is in the first 12 marbles. So you already have done your first weighing. Your second weighing, this 6, the one that had shown you to be the heaviest, you're taking that as 2, 2 and 2. Right, now if this is getting balanced, then your exception 1 is in the last 2, which has been not weighed so far, right? So in your third weighing, you are taking that 2 as 1 plus 1 and then finding out which is the heavier one. This is your case number 1. Whereas in your case number 2, even there you have weighed your first one, but your second one, this 5 is split as 2 plus 2 plus 1, and if it is weighing the, if the first 2 and the second 2 are balanced, then definitely this one is going to be the heavier one. But if that is not balanced, then the heavier sided marble is split as 1 plus 1, and you can easily find out which is the heavier marble. Hope you got this logic. Again, I am repeating, if it is not given as heavier or it is weighing lesser, then the logic is going to be different, right? So in either of the cases, the number of weightings we have done is only 3. So the answer for this question becomes 3. If Ramesh is the only son of the daughter of Govind's mother-in-law, how is Ramesh related to the daughter of Govind's wife? Now this is your question. Let's find out the working. Ramesh is the only son of daughter of Govind's mother-in-law. Right? So Govind's mother-in-law's daughter has only son. Okay, they have not mentioned as only daughter. Govind's mother-in-law can have any number of daughter, right? So this only son can be son of either Govind's wife or daughter of Govind's sister-in-law. Right? So there are 2 options. So this makes you in an ambiguous situation. So the answer for this question is cannot be determined because there are 2 possible cases. So we cannot derive a conclusion from that. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Complete the series 29, 59, 117, and you're going to find the next term in the series, right? Now 29 into 2 gives you 58, which when added with 1 will give you 59. Now multiplying the first term with 2 and adding with 1, you get your second term. And for your third term, you're multiplying the second term with 2 and subtracting from 1, subtracting with 1, you get your answer to be 117. So as adding and subtracting 1 are happening in cycles, right? So the next one is 117 into 2, which gives you 234. Since you have subtracted in the previous one, here you are going to add with 1, so the answer becomes 235, which is in your option A. Hope you got this logic. Here comes your puzzle question. 5 trainers P, Q, R, S and T are working in the training department of a company and were given a rank based on their performance. 2 of them got A grade, 2 others got B grade, and only one of them got a C grade. A is better than B, which is better than C. Now this is talking about the grades. Okay, now this is the basic information you've got, with the help of which and the hints given here you are going to arrange it. Okay, now your first hint says that 2 of them are verbal trainers, 1 is quants and 2 are technical trainers. Yes, this is the first data. Your second data, no 2 trainers in the same area got a same grade. Okay. Your third one is the important data. S is the only trainer in his area and got a B grade. As we know, we have got only one quants trainer, as it is mentioned here. 2 of them are verbal trainers, 1 is quants and 2 technical trainers. You've got only one quants trainer and S is the only trainer in his area and got a B grade. Now this will give you the first thing right. So 1 quants, 2 verbal and 2 technical. Yes is in the field of quants and has got a B grade. Your next one, the 2 trainers in verbal got 2 grades having the maximum separation. So it can be of any 2 trainers. If it is going to be maximum separation, then in verbal trainers, one has to get a grade and another has to get a C grade, right? Hold on with this information. T is not a technical trainer, and so T is going to definitely be a verbal trainer. Okay, so of the 2 verbal trainers, we got one person who is T and he has got a better grade than the other one. So definitely, because it is given as maximum separation, so one has to be A grade and another has to be a C grade. So T is going to have A grade in verbal training and one more person having a C grade. Your next one, neither P nor R got the lowest grade. So you know that one person is going to get a C grade and P and R did not get the lowest grade. So definitely Q should be the one who got the lowest grade, right? So the verbal trainers, just by looking at the data, we can derive as T and Q, with T with A grade and Q with C grade. Okay, and then the last data, R got a lower grade than exactly one of the verbal trainers, right? So if it's going to be lower, it should be either lesser than C or either lesser than A. Okay, so lesser than C, we don't have a grade, so lesser than A is B. So R has secured a B grade while P has secured a A grade. Now this is how it works. This is how your first step was worked. Your second one, where we have fixed C to be C and T and Q in as verbal trainers, with T having A grade and Q having C grade, right? And then we are fixing the technical trainers R and P with B grade and A grade respectively. Now the last one is going to be the final arrangement of the puzzle that was given. Okay, with the help of this, we are going to solve few questions on this. Here comes your first question. What is a grade obtained by Q? Look at the table. Q has obtained a C grade. So the answer for this question becomes C. What is the area of expertise for trainer R? So trainer R has secured a B grade in technical. So the answer becomes technical. If A grade is given 5 points, B is given 4 points and C grade is given 3 points, find the average points obtained by all the trainers. Look at the working. We know 2 A grades, 2 B grades and 1 C grade, right? So 2 into 5 gives you 10, 2 into 4 gives you 8 and 1 into 3 gives you 3. When you add, you get your answer to be 21, which when divided by 3, you get your answer as 7. Okay, so the answer for this question becomes 7. Which two trainers got the grade A? So A grade is got by P and T, which is in your option B. How many different arrangements are possible? As we have discussed earlier, we had no confusions or we had no options. There was only one arrangement possible. So that will bring to a conclusion. The answer for this question is going to be 1. If biology is coded as P, J, C, M, Z, H, P, then in the same language, how is the word physics coded? Look at the working. Biology is coded as P, J, C, M, Z, H, P, right? Now, for certain coding decoding questions, you have to bisect it. I mean, you have to segregate into two halves to get your answer done. Okay. So, cutting this into two halves, the next letter of B is going to be C, next letter of O is going to be P, the next letter of I remains J. So the first three letters are swapped. Similarly, the last three letters, next letter of O is P, next letter of Y is Z, next letter of G is H, and the center letter remains the same. Next letter to L becomes M. So this is the logic applied in converting biology to the coded word that's given. So the same logic is applied for physics, and your answer becomes ZIQTTDJ, which is in your option D. Hope you got this logic. Looking at a photograph of a boy, a woman said, "He is the only son of the wife of my husband's son-in-law." How is the woman related to the boy in the photograph? Okay, now the boy is, that he is referred as boy here, is the only son of the wife of women's husband's son-in-law. Right? So women's husband's son-in-law is going to be women's daughter's husband, right? Because women's husband's daughter is nothing but women's daughter, right? So women's daughter husband, right? So he is the only son of women's daughter's husband, which means he is the only son of women's daughter as well, right? So for this women, only grandson of women. Okay, so the answer becomes only grandson of women. Your question is, how is the woman related to the boy in the photograph? The answer is grandmother. Complete the series 15, 17, 20, 25, 32, and you're going to find the next term in the series. Okay, 17 minus 15 gives you 2, 20 minus 17 gives you 3, 25 minus 20 gives you 5, 32 minus 25 gives you 7. Now so far all these numbers, that is the difference is a prime number, right? So the next difference should also be a prime number. The next prime number of 7 is 11. So you should get a number which when subtracted with 32 should give you a value as 11. So the answer for this question becomes 43, because 43 minus 32 will give you 11. Looking at a photograph of a man, a boy said, "He is the only brother of the daughter of my paternal grandfather's wife." How is the boy's mother related to the man in the photograph? Now it's a simple question. Just look at the working. Man is the only brother of the daughter of boy's paternal grandfather's wife, right? So paternal grandfather's wife is nothing but just paternal grandfather. They both share the same relationship with that boy, right? Then this can be converted as only brother of the boy's paternal aunt. Daughter of paternal grandfather is going to be paternal aunt, right? So the only brother of boy's paternal aunt can be his father. If the word only is not mentioned, then this question is an ambiguous question, and so you can go for the option cannot be determined. But since you have the word only brother, which means boy's father is going to be the only brother of the boy's paternal auntie, right? So the question is, how is the boy's mother related to the man in the photograph? So boy's father's wife is going to be boy's mother, right? So the answer for this question becomes wife. A person goes 3 kilometer towards north from point A. Assume this as point A. 3 kilometer towards, assume this has point A. 3 kilometers towards north from point A to reach point B, and then towards his right and walks another 4 kilometers to reach point C. What is the minimum distance covered by the person and which direction is he standing now? Okay, now this is your direction: north, south, east and west. If he has moved from point A, it is 3 kilometer and then 4 kilometer. So we know that to find the shortest distance whenever you have a hypotenuse, triangle, then it is going to be a square plus the root of a square plus b square, right? So a to b is 3 and b to c is 4 kilometers. The root of 9 plus 16 will give you root 25, which is 5, right? So the minimum distance travelled is going to be 5. And since it is north and the boy is facing, he has turned right, which is going to be east, the direction of that is going to be northeast direction. If pencil is coded as QGQGNR in a certain language, then how is the word rubber coded in the same language? Yes, now P is changed as Q, which is the next letter. E is changed as G, which is second letter to E. Likewise, every letter is added with a number and the corresponding letters are mentioned here. P plus 1 is Q, E plus 2, N plus 3, C plus 4, and it goes on like that, right? Now, the same logic is applied for rubber, and so your answer becomes SWFGJY, which is in your option C. That becomes your answer. A scored more than E but not as much as C, right? So A scored more than E but not as much as C. D scored more than B, who had scored more than C. Who amongst the 5 had scored the highest, right? So this becomes your option. A scored more than E but not as much as C, right? So which means A should be lesser than C and higher than E. So this is how your first data is converted. Second one, D scored more than B, who had scored more than C. Okay, so B should be scoring more than C and more than B should be the score of D. Right, so which of these 5 had scored the highest? It's quite easy to find. The first one is D, so the answer becomes D, who had scored the highest score. If the letters A to Z take any random values from 1 to 52 in a specific order, then the value of A minus X, B minus X, C minus X, etc. to Z minus X is dash. Right? Now, whenever you see a question, we often have a tendency of either taking the answer to be 1 or 0. Right? If both are given, then yeah, it is up to you to decide. Right? Or whenever you see a different type of option, you tend to pick that, right? Now this question doesn't require any such thoughts. It's a quite simple question. It can take any values in a random way, right? If A is 1, B is going to be 3, C is going to be 5, it can be of any sort. But always remember, you have a continuation here, which is A is subtracted with a letter that even takes a value. Right, if X takes 5, okay, and still because this gets continued, at one point you get X minus X, right? Whatever value X takes, X minus X will always be 0, right? So anything multiplied with 0 will again be a 0. So the answer for this question is 0. There are 2 people, namely Altu and Faltu, with specific characteristics. Altu speaks truth only after sunrise and Faltu speaks truth only after the sunset. In the above case, which of the statements is true? Remember, Altu is speaking truth only after sunrise, which is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Faltu speaks truth only after sunset, which is 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Right? Now in the question, in the above case, which of the statements is true? Altu says the other one is Faltu at 8 p.m. Now Altu will lie after 6 p.m. So the option A goes false. Second one, Altu says Faltu is honest at 2 a.m. Again 2 a.m. Though it's a morning one, sun has not yet risen. So definitely this option B will also go wrong. Third one, Faltu says Faltu is false at 3 a.m. Now, if Faltu says Faltu is false at 3 a.m., which is actually between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., definitely your third option can be true. Hold on with that. Your fourth one, Faltu says I am Altu at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. is between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. which is during sunrise and sunset time. So this time Faltu will be actually lying, right? So in that case, ruling out your option A, B and D, we are left with only option C. So that becomes your answer. For the same question, you have another statement. If one of them says Faltu is dishonest, then which of the following will make the statement true? Okay, your first one, said by Altu at 7 a.m., said by Faltu at 7 p.m. C, none of these, and it can either be A or B. Okay, now Altu we know he will be talking truth only between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. so this can be true, and Faltu he will be talking the truth only between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. so this can also be truth. So either of this can be true, so your answer becomes option D. Hope you got it. P, Q, R, S, T, U are the 6 members of the family. There are 2 married couples. Amongst them, there are 3 females in a family. R is the mother of P and U. T is the father of S. P is the grandson of T, who is Q to U, right? Now, family tree has been drawn here. T and Q are couples and T has a son, S, whose wife is R, and they have 2 children, namely P and U, of which P is son and U is going to be daughter. Right, this is the family tree of the question that's given here. Your question is who is Q to U. Now who is Q to U? So U is the granddaughter, so Q is going to be the grandmother, which is in your option C. For the same question, who is the daughter of S? Now S has 2 children, P and U, of which U is the daughter, so the answer becomes U. If X is married to U, who is X to P? Okay, if X is married to U, imagine X is marrying U, so P and X becomes in-laws, right? So the answer for this question becomes brother-in-law. 3 malls A, B and C are in a straight line with the distance between A and B being 25 km and between B and C 40 km. What's the distance between A and C? Now imagine you've got 2 malls, namely A and B. They have told you the distance between A and B is 25 and B and C is 40. But we don't know where C is actually located. C can either be next to B or to the left of A. Right, we do not know the location of C, so in that case the distance between A and C cannot be determined, so that becomes your answer. A cube measuring 8 cm on all sides is taken and is painted brown. It's now cut into smaller cubes of 2 cm each. Find the total number of small cubes. Whenever you handle cuboid question, you need to remember certain formula. And here the question is the total number of small cubes, right? To find the total number of small cubes, you need to remember the formula called n cube. And where n you can call it to be the side of large cube divided by the side of small cube. Now the side of large cube is 8 cm, that is the one which we had initially, and the small cube is the one that we got after cutting. So 8 by 2 gives you 4, so 4 cube is 64. So the answer for this question becomes 64. For the same question, find the total number of small cubes which have all the 3 sides painted. See, the 3 sides will be painted only on the corners, right? How many corners does a cube have? It has got 8 corners, right? So always for a 3-side painted one in a cube, the answer is going to be 8. A cube measuring 8 cm on all sides is taken and is painted brown. It is now cut into smaller cubes of 2 cm. Find the total number of small cubes which have 2 sides painted. Now the formula to find 2 sides painted is 12 into n minus 2, where n is 4. 4 minus 2 gives you 2, so 12 into 2 gives you 24. We know n as 4 as we have discussed in the previous question, right? So the answer for this question becomes 24. A cube measuring 8 cm on all sides is taken and is painted brown. It's now cut into smaller cubes of 2 cm. The same question is repeated. Find the total number of small cubes with one side painted. For one side painted, the formula is 6 into n minus 2 the whole cube. N we know is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 square is 4. 6 into 4 gives you 24. So the answer becomes 24. Find the total number of small cubes with no side painted. For the cubes no side painted, n minus 2 whole cube. N minus 2 will give you 2. 2 cube is 8. So the answer for this question becomes 8. This brings us to the end of the session. Thank you for watching. Thank you.